Smile Co podcast. My name is Kevin Hayashi. I am your host, co-founder of Smile Co. We are a platform to encourage and inspire creators to live their dreams and do what makes them smile. We lead by example by manifesting our reality and raising our frequency. My special guest is Jessie Vargas. How are you doing, Jessie? He's a two-time champion. It's great to have you, brother.
What's up, Kevin? Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here on Smile Co. And I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Just, keeping busy over here in town in Vegas. And, just happy to be here, brother.
So I had Jose Ramirez on, another two-belt champion.
Yeah.
That's actually how we met in Las Vegas. We went out to XS, had a good time. So tell me what you've been up to, man.
Yeah, man. Jose's a great friend, man. He's a good guy. He's a former world champion looking to conquer another division soon, right? I think he has plenty of talent. And that is the time we met. Jose invited me out, and we ended up coming. I think it was like a big fight weekend, right? And you were in town, Jose, and several other people. You had a large group that time.
Yeah.
And we got to hang out, had an amazing time with you fellas. And ever since then, we've been connected. I mean, that must have been before the pandemic too, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. It must have been 2019 for sure. Yeah, 2019. And yeah, ever since, here we are now at Smile Co. And, talking about, I guess our backgrounds in a way. I'm a two-time world champion boxer, as you know. Started at the age of 8. And from then on, just never stopped. Let me tell you how it really started. My father wanted me to be involved with after-school activity. I chose soccer, and I tried it out, but then I figured out it's too much running in this. I hate running. I don't want to run. Literally, I hated to run. I mean, all the way to like 15 years old, I just despised it. But I continued on. I noticed that in the training camps, when you were training for the game, you had to just practice in the runs.
Right.
It sucked. But the competitions were very entertaining. I love actually playing soccer. But the training was too much, so I told my dad I didn't want to do it. And shortly after that, I start watching this movie on TV. It's called Bloodsport. That's the name of it. And I thought, wow, this is cool. I want to be like that guy. I want to be like Jean-Claude Van Damme. And that's how it started. I went into Taekwondo. And then I thought, man, this is too much. Like, you're supposed to learn numbers, and then you got to learn a technique, but you never fight. I thought, yeah, it's not for me. So I ended up telling my dad I didn't want to do Taekwondo anymore. I advanced to like orange belt. Orange belt. And then after that, keep in mind, this is all at 7, 8 years old. And then shortly after that, I tell my dad, my dad brings this sport to me. How about boxing? You want to try boxing? I said, yeah. I want to try boxing. And then just from the first day, I was just amazed by how the fighters were going at it, one-on-one combat. And then as I'm training with Richard Still, he's explaining to me how I'm going to throw a jab. And I still find it entertaining because it actually seems like a fight. It actually seems like a real fight. Okay, you're going to throw a jab, you're going to throw 1, 2. That's a fight right there. Okay, so he's teaching me all the moves. I come in the next day and continue to learn the process of the technique. And, how to have proper stance, all of it. And it was all entertaining. I enjoyed it. It was time-consuming, but I enjoyed it. And then my dad bought a VHS cassette at that time of Julio Chavez. He's the best Mexican fighter ever. You know what I mean? He's TBE in Mexico. And, I said, wow, you know what? You could do this and make money doing it. And you could take care of your family by doing it. You could buy your mom a house. Your family a house. I said, you know what? This is what I want. And ever since then, that idea of me holding the belt, just like Julio Chavez did, right, and having the money, buying the cars, that idea always stuck with me. And I knew I set it as a goal for me to accomplish being a world champion. And then this is 8 years old, and 9 years old, I keep doing it. 10 years old, I'm doing it. 11, 12 years old, I become national champion. So state, regional, and then national champion. I did it again at the age of 15 twice. And then 17, I did well. And then 17, I became national champion again in Mexico. This is all in the U.S. And then Mexico, I went over to Mexico to become national champion there too. Did that. So yeah, man, it's been a great run. And at the age of 19, I turned professional. But it all stayed with me because of my consistency. Because of my goal that I had, that I thought, I want to be a world champion. I have to work hard. I have to, stay disciplined, not party with my friends. And yeah, I mean, that really taught me discipline, to be honest with you. I mean, my dad would make me run, even though I hated to run. Keep in mind, I quit soccer because I hated to run, but boxing, I was like, I hate it, but I love the sport too much to leave, to just leave the sport. So for that reason, I ended up just, sometimes I would even have to cry. I would even cry and tell him, I don't want to run. And he'd make me run. So then at the age of 12, I was like, all right, I got to just deal with it. All right. I mean, this is what I love to do. I just kind of sat back down, thought to myself, if this is what I want to do, I have to just stay focused and, take action. And that's what I did ever since then.
When you were 8 years old, you actually pictured yourself becoming the world champion?
I did. I saw that VHS, the VHS movie, and I thought, damn, I want what he has. So ever since then, I saw myself holding the belt, right, in the middle of the ring, winning a fight. And not only that, but after that, I would have people tell me, because I was pretty clear about it. I'd tell people, yeah, I want to be a world champion. I mean, I'm 9, 10 years old telling guys, hey, I'm a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion. And I remember telling this to to my uncle, as he introduced me to his friends. He must have been 22, 21, 22. And oh yeah, this is my nephew, Jesse. Hey, what's up? He says he wants to be a boxer. I was like, no, I'm going to be a world champion. And when I told him that, I remember he told his friends, yeah, he's a big dreamer, man. And I look at him and I'm thinking, no, I'm going to be a world champion. Like, that's what it is. And I was so certain of it that, I kept that idea all the time. And I always thought to myself, I'm going to tell my uncle when I become world champion, I told you, bro. And I haven't told him to this day because they say the proof is in the pudding, right?
Man, that is amazing.
Yeah, man.
I study the quantum physics behind how we create our reality. And I ask a lot of my guests, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza.
No.
He's an incredible human. He has events all over the world. I've gone to 4 of them, but he teaches how to activate the pineal gland and how he breaks down through quantum physics, epigenetics, neuroscience, neuroplasticity, how resonance happens. And you're worthy to receive because you believed in yourself. There was no doubt, and you are a prime example of how we manifest and create our reality. And I love hearing you say that. There was no doubt in you as a child. You saw what you wanted and you made it a reality, and it's on the highest level, which is a beautiful thing. So,
yeah, that's true.
Uncle?
No, it's true because, even looking back at it now, or speaking of this conversation, there's very few people that I tell this entire story to, and I shared it with you.
Thank you.
Right? And for me to share that with you and for you to say, you know what, that's actually what got me going. This is what I envisioned. This is what I've heard. This is from Dr. What's his name again?
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, that's what he says. So Dr. Dispenza. So with him saying that and me elaborating on my story kind of just confirms that what he says is true.
Yeah.
Once you envision it so clearly over and over and over again, and of course, you put the work behind it.
Right.
It's not just envisioning, but you also got to put the work behind it, the dedication. It will come true. And I truly believe so. I have that same mindset.
So it goes super deep, and just to touch on it a little bit. So our thoughts are an electrical charge. So the quantum realm is kind of like the ocean around us. All we can see is up to the speed of light. So anything faster than the speed of light, like your phone, the TV, is taking information through a frequency and projecting it into what we can see. Anything faster than the speed of light, like sound waves, like when we're recording this right now, those sound waves we can't see, right? But they're around us. And 99% of this reality is stuff beyond the visible light spectrum, which is crazy, right? So like fish don't know they're in the ocean, right? Fish don't know everything they're doing is putting off waves. And in resonance, the thought is an electrical charge, which is like a tiny pebble in an ocean, right? It drops a little bit, but your emotion, like when you felt you being the world champion, right? Your thoughts gave your body an emotion, and that's like dropping a stone, and those waves come back to us, right? So you knew you'd be a world champion, and you kept thinking about it. You lived in the energy of your future. This is how we create, right? And a lot of the world has been created to keep us in separation, to keep us in fear, guilt, shame. Are you left? Are you right? Are you black? Are you white? We're in imaginary lines. We're in Nevada. You're in here. It's all separation. The more separate you are, the more matter you are. less energy. And then when you live in love and gratitude and higher frequencies, you literally vibrate at a higher frequency. No one teaches us this stuff because they don't want us to know this, right? Kings to peasants. The kings hold the power, and they just keep us fighting each other and separate. But I could go on for days. But
No, I mean, I see it in the same way, right? This is another thing that I just started learning myself. I'm taking time away from the sport, so I just started kind of meeting. I just hanging out with friends a little more often than I used to, and sometimes meeting new friends. Actually, many times meeting new people. And what I've noticed, man, is they say this a lot, that your frequency, your energy, you got to make sure that you are very observative of who you're sharing your energy with. And,
absolutely.
right? Because at the end of the day, man, it's not only time consuming, but it's energy consuming, because I've noticed that there's people, that I know that have this energy about them, man. It's something so special. But once they make themselves very accessible to several other people, right? People that may not have the same intention as them, or just people that are just on a different aura, different mindset. Bro, that energy, I've seen it. It just gets somehow, I don't know how this happens, dude. You might call me like I'm wrong, or you might say whatever it is that you say, but that energy would transfer over to the other people that you hang with.
100%.
I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine, actually not too long ago, and I told him, bro, I love seeing my boys thrive. Like, that's what I'm about. Because actually he was telling me, dude, thank you for making me better. Thank you for, for kind of letting me know, like, when I'm wrong. Man, and I told him these exact words. I said, man, I just want to see my boys thrive. All right. And once I saw you doing something that I thought was going to hold you back from your dream or your goal, then I want to let you know. And that's what I did. I told you the truth. Like, you need to, just chill a little bit. But I do it nicely, right? In some words that
with love.
You'll get with some love. So, and I'll elaborate on that later. But, yeah, so I end up telling him, okay, just chill, man. Don't you want to make some money? Or whatever the case is, right? Because a lot of my friends are already established. But I want them to continue going, right? It's not just about giving up. It's like retirement. We'll talk about that later. So I'm always telling them, like, dude, I want my boys to thrive. And I've noticed that the people that I hang out with, this is me telling them, I noticed that the people I hang out with, like, they're thriving, bro. And if they're not, like, I'm like, for some reason, once we get together, like, they begin to get reminded or just push towards the direction where they want to go. Right? I'm not saying it's me, but I'm just saying that, this is what I like to see, and this is what I'll inform my friends on. Like, hey, dude, come on, you got to get it going. Like, you could make some money, you could do this, you could do that.
Yeah,
hey,
you're motivating and inspiring.
Yeah, you got to subtly, because nobody wants to be told what to do.
Right.
But and I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but I know what their goal is. I'm like, hey, man, like,
a little encouragement.
Yeah, with some subtle comments, I think always are very helpful. We always need that friend. I need that friend. We all need that one friend that will kind of tell you, hey, bro, but don't you got a meeting tomorrow morning? Like, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to party, but I mean, I thought you had a meeting in the morning, but if you want to come out with me, come out. It don't matter, right? So it just kind of depends on us being aware of what's going on with our friends, with ourselves, with our family.
Yeah, and that's good to hear you say that, man, and to be authentic and real, and that's what we need to surround ourselves with, and that's good energy,
Yeah, that's what it's about at the end of the day, man. I mean, we're here in this world, and we all gotta set out to accomplish something, right? And the question is, what do you want to accomplish, right? Everyone has different meanings. Everybody has different goals in mind in life, and you just gotta find it. Like, I'm taking college classes now as well, and I'm hearing out some people that are college students, and they don't know what they want to do. They don't, and I'm like, how is it you don't know what you want to do? I'm just thinking to myself, how is it you don't know what you want to do? Right? If it was me at that time, I'd sit down and I'd say, all right, what is it that I want to do? There's not one thing that I can't do, but what is it that I want to do, right? Because we can all accomplish whatever we set out to do. We just gotta put in the work, right? Be informed, be aware of what it's gonna take for us to accomplish it. Some are harder than others, but at the end of the day, I think that we can. I think that we can accomplish everything we set out to do, and that's why I don't really put any limits on myself. I became a 2-time world champion. Keep in mind that my mindset was always on just becoming a world champion. It wasn't a mindset of becoming the the number one best ever fighter in the world, which probably should be. Like, that's why they say, you know, if you're gonna aim for something, aim for the stars. That way, if you don't get there, at least you're still what, and they say something like, at least you're still within the stars, close to the stars, whatever the case is, right? And it's true. It's true because I'm a proof of it so far. Where I'm like, yo, like I only set myself to accomplish a world championship. I didn't set myself to be number one, the number one fighter in the past 20 years, right? So now I'm like, all right, man, let's step it up. We got to do a little more.
My buddy Bernard Berrien, we had on, who was the receiver for the Bears and the Vikings. I love his quote. He said, if you're not dreaming, if people aren't laughing at you when you tell them your dreams, you're not dreaming big enough. And that is always stuck with me, man. That's such a good quote. And I encourage people to dream bigger, you know?
Very true.
You know, it's good to, but you're only worthy to receive if you're worthy, right? You believed in yourself, right? Like other people, you know? And sometimes it's the energy thing. Sometimes there's certain people that you don't want to share things with because they're gonna bring you down, and you can't listen to that, you know.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you've been around it as well, knowing a lot of people. You know, just some people just drain you, and it's awkward. Yeah. It is. There's been times where I'll hang out with some people and they're good guys, you know, good entrepreneurs, but I'm like, excuse me, I was gonna say a curse word, but they drain me, bro. Like, I leave the night. I leave and we had a good time. I leave and the next day I feel like crap. I'm like, man, this is maybe just a certain mindset that I have. But if for some reason, and I'm not talking about drinking and I feel bad the next day because I'm hungover. It's just sometimes you're gonna hang out with people and then after you hang out with them, you're not gonna feel good for some odd reason. You gotta pay attention to that. I pay attention to I'm so in tune with my body that I know exactly what I need, what I lack. And at that time, I'm like, man, I shouldn't hang out with these guys, you know. And actually, long story, but I noticed that it was just negative energy. It was a good time, but negative energy. So if I want to keep having a good time, I can hang out with them. But the question is, what do you want to accomplish, right? I feel like I don't accomplish anything by hanging out with those friends. It's just having a good time, and that's it. And my energy is low all the time.
Energy vampires.
Dude, energy all the time. Every time I hang out with them, because it wasn't just one time. Every time I hang out with them, we're having a good time. And then after that, I feel like crap for 3 days. I feel like sad. Not sad, but just like down. You know, and that's not my style. My style is always positive, always like creative, always on the hustle. Always, all right, what's next? We got to do. All right. When hanging out with them, I just feel like, all right, I just want to chill. I just want to be in bed. Like, that's it.
So there's a guy named Dr. Bruce Lipton that's friends with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And Bruce, he was one of the first people. I think he was a university teacher, but he was one of the first people talking about energy, and he was doing a lot of speeches to his coworkers and all this stuff, and people thought he was crazy. But now everything is about energy, and they're understanding it now because there's frequency meters and they can test everything. It's data now. It's not them. It's not an idea or a philosophy. But he explains bad vibes like this, like. So everything is a wave, right? Nothing in this earth is standing still. Even this chair, right? Everything's vibrating, and every vibration has a frequency, and every frequency has information. So if we're putting off waves and you walk into a room and people aren't on the same frequency or wavelength, then it's if you've ever been in the ocean or wakeboarding or anything, when waves hit each other and one's up and one's down, they kill each other. The waves will hit and they just die, and that's bad vibes. So like when you come out here, people are on a different thing and they bring your energy down, you know? But
true.
I mean, I had a wild Vegas night last night and I had no energy, but you know, thanks to you and Travis, thanks you guys, your energy is bringing me up, and now I have energy because your energy came up and we helped. When the waves hit, they go up. So we've brought each other's energy up, and that's what we don't see. And when I was talking about the speed of light, what's interesting, so the speed of light is the ceiling of what we can see, right? And it's all about the third eye, right? iPhone, iMac, Ash Wednesday, Buddhists, everything has to do with this, right? The eye on the back of the dollar, CBS, every single thing has to do with this. And this works as a transducer, as an antenna. And what Joe teaches us is we can compress our cerebral spinal fluid. It's called the piezoelectric effect, and that compresses against the third eye, and it activates calcium crystals. And that's how we receive information, and they put fluoride in the water, which calcifies this. It's voted out of the water in Europe. But this is the key to everything. And then we literally can get higher frequency information. Because you ever thought about like what makes you have the right decision when you go left or you go right, right? And the higher our frequency is, the better the information we can take to come in. Like
Definitely.
I could go off on that too, either way. But I mean, what popped into my mind was you in a fight. You know, like what makes you. It's interesting because there's a thought, right? And a thought is a frequency, but it's crazy because at a split second you have the idea to go down, and that's training. But then boom, you throw that uppercut and you knock a guy out. How does that feel when you knock a guy out and you make the right decision, man?
Dude, I transform once I'm inside the ring. Like, I just get really aggressive, right? And all you want to do is smash this dude's face. I mean, excuse my language, but that's just the way it is. Like, even just whenever I start talking about a fight and what occurs in a fight, automatically, like, the way I express myself is just all aggressive because I'm just thinking about, all right, what it's like to be in there. So I just turn it and I envision myself inside. And how do you feel? I mean, you want to just beat this guy up. You want to land some solid shots, make sure he doesn't hit you. And if he does, well, you want to come right back with 4 more shots, right? Once you do get hit with 1. So, I mean, and once you land a good punch, like, yeah, I know you felt that. Mother, I know you felt that. All right, let's go again. And then just looking for the next shot, but at the same time being aware of what he wants to do, right? And in that moment, you got to just sometimes disguise a move, make him think that you're going to throw a punch and not throw it just so that he's able to attack, you step out, all right, and now you're in control because you knew exactly what he wanted to do. He did it. Now you come back with whatever it is that you want to do next. So it's almost like envisioning not envision. No, this is envision. This is just kind of clarifying what he wants to do, but it takes time because you gotta see his positioning. You have to feint him a couple of times. That way you get to understand, all right, where's his mind at, and then also know exactly where your hands are at, right? So if your hands are up here, like, all right, punch it going through here. So that's where you're more aware. All right. So as soon as he opens up on the right, on his right side, you're like, all right, let me just step out of here because he could get me in through this angle. So you're just very conscious, very aware of not only your defense in your body, but what's in front of you too. And as soon as you see the clear shot, you take it. There's no thinking twice about it. There's no thinking twice. I thought twice about a punch one time. I remember well. Against Manny Pacquiao. Coming in. It's the first round. In the first round, I won easily. I got this. I got real cocky, man. And then I'm like, all right. So the second round comes in. I'm doing the same thing. Looking good, feeling good. And then I'm just getting ready to throw 1-2. And I go jab, and I got this one cocked back already, and I'm about to throw it. But in that moment, I had seen Manny Pacquiao position himself to throw a straight left right down the middle. And right in the moment that I was processing my right to shoot it, like his was just about to go. So we were going to let it go at the same time. And I thought to myself in that split second, this guy's a little faster than me. Well, he's supposed to be faster than me. Let me back out of this punch. So I throw 1, and I'm about to throw 2. I said, yeah, no. So I just kind of leaned back. So I leaned back after right before I decide not to throw it. That way he doesn't hit me with his left. So I'm leaning like this, but he still nicked me right on the chin. Like barely got me. But I was leaning back like this to stay away from the punch. That as soon as he just touched me, I went down. I was like, damn, I got up. You see me in the video. I got up and I smiled because I said, damn it. Like, I should have just took the shot.
Man, that's split-second thoughts. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's almost like when you're fighting in there, everything's in slow motion. I mean, not slow enough because if it was in slow motion, you move away from the punch. But it goes in that time frame. Yeah, split second actually lasts you like a good 5-8 seconds.
How'd that Pacquiao mentally go, that fight with you?
So it was a good fight. We went to full 12. And it was a war from beginning to end. To this day, people come at me and they say, hey, man, that fight was so great. And it's cool, right? It's cool because it feels good to know that what you do up there to entertain the people pays off because years from then or from that moment, you'll get people come to you and give you credit for what you did, credit for giving a great fight, credit for giving them a war. He won the fight. towards the end. I went all the way to decision. I was a world champion. I was a WBO world champion. And he took the belt that night. And, I mean, credit to him. He's a great fighter. I thought it was a close fight. I thought that I had edged it by a little bit. Many people thought the same, but I could see the fight going either way for him or for I. So, yeah, I didn't fight the decision. I thought, okay, cool. I mean, the judges saw him win. I respect it. Congrats, Pac. And then that was it. Yeah, then I went on to 2 other fights since then, and he's done the same. I hope that he comes back soon. You know, I like Pacquiao. He's a good dude.
You think he's going to come back in the ring?
I don't think so. I think if he comes back, it'll be an exhibition.
Yeah.
I mean, which is understandable.
Make
He's
some
40, 41, I think, right? So, yeah, make some money, like you were about to say. Make some money, give some entertainment, you know. And it seems like he's a guy that likes to help his country. So, you know, with him making money, I guess many others will win also.
And he got into politics, and you're dabbling at that, right?
I was dabbling in politics as well, man. Politics is a whole different game. It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
You got to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You know, the people that you bring into your circle as you're running for office. So, yeah, it's something that's very unique. You need good connections. You need good connections.
What made you think about that? What was the inspiration behind that?
Man, I was just frustrated with what was occurring in our country. I thought that we needed politicians that can speak for us a bit more, not just one demographic, but as a whole. You know, as a country, we are an amazing land built on immigrants, right? And I think that we needed somebody that would understand everybody's point of view, whether you're an immigrant or, you know, an American for, you know, hundreds of years. But I figured that we need somebody that was more caring, informed. Because, I mean, for a president to run when they're 7 years old, I mean, they're no longer aware of what the 20-year-olds are going through. They're no longer aware of what's the new technology. So I just got frustrated with the whole pandemic going on, and you know, them shutting us down. You know, not caring about people making a living, right? Not caring about, you know, the people going through stressful situations. Not caring about shutting down cities. I mean, it was just too much, man. I mean, kind of, I'd say, pushing us to do something that they weren't even knowledgeable over certain situations during the pandemic, and I thought that was very immature of them. Like, first, you know, bring the stats, bring all the data, and then pass it on to your citizens, right? And that wasn't the case. It just seemed like everything was wrong. I mean, it's because I don't like talking much politics, because I know it's going to hurt some people. Some people are not going to like it. Some people will. Right. But I'll give you a perfect example. They built the wall to divide Mexico and the U.S. And I'm thinking, all right, well, okay, that's understandable, but what do you think is going to happen to that wall? I mean, people are going to cut it through. People are going to just find a way through it. It's not going to be an issue. They're either going to go over, under. They already built tunnels. So they're either going to go under, over, or just cut it off. That's exactly what they're doing. So it didn't make sense to me. You know, just so much of our money was being invested in ways that the American tax, the American dollars basically, right, in taxes, it was being spent in ways that I didn't think were necessary. Right now we're sending a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. So yeah. Politics is a long run.
Yeah. Well, it's energy draining. Politics, multiple bloodsuckers, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, right? Because my car, I have a really fast car, but it can only go so fast because there's a governor on it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Isn't that interesting?
Uh-huh.
And then there's progress, right? Progress, and the opposite of pro is con, and there's congress. So it's really funny when you think about the limitations. And yeah, definitely don't want to get too much into politics, but I appreciate you for wanting to make a change.
Thank you.
And wanting to use your platform and you know, if there were more people like that, then I think it'd be a little better place, you know?
Definitely. I just hope that whoever runs, whether it be Congress, Senate, and of course the president, is just understanding on both sides.
Yeah.
right? Because there's two major parties in our country, and we need people that are open to hearing both sides and then making a firm decision of what's best. Because I'm not gonna say the right's always right. I'm not gonna say the left's always right, right? So one of them will be wrong in certain occasions, and it's about the leader, right? The person in office to identify what's right from wrong, and then go from there at the end of the day, and not just picking a side and sticking with the side even if it's wrong. No, you got to be open to new ideas. You got to be open to listening to, the opposite team, and then you go from there. I think that's how our country be able to move forward, right? In the end, and at the end of the day, I mean, as long as the Americans just want to work, we know exactly what they want to do. They want to work. They want to be able to have a good time. They want to be able to express themselves, right? As long as it's safely, of course. And I think that everyone should be able to express themselves however they see themselves fit, as long as it's legal, right? And then that's gonna make our country better overall.
Yeah, I think it's very important that it starts at home. It starts with the family. It starts with the leadership in a family. And there's a lot happening right now that's breaking up the family unit. There's a lot of stuff I could go into with movements that have happened where people thought it was for giving people power, but then they ended up having a different agenda of taxing half the nation and separating the family so the state raises the children. But it's important that the family, whether it's your friends, having your friends back, saying, "Yo, this is what you need to be doing," or giving a little encouragement in the right way, or mom and dad, whatever it is, it's having that unit and not being separate. Because right now there's just too much separation going on in the world. So,
well said. Well
Yeah.
said. You know what? That makes me think of one thing. That a lot of these multimillionaires and billionaires, I've noticed something that they only hang out with the same group. So my friend's daughter will hang out with my daughter, my child, right? My son. And then my other friends' kids will hang out with my kids. Like, they hold such a tight group, right? Such a tight niche. And now I see why. This is the exact same reason, right? Because we want to make sure that we're all on the same page on how we want to raise our children, on basically our, how we want to raise them, how our basically, I'd say that just what's important in life, right? And it's our morals and, how to be authentic, how to be genuine, and actually how to have goals. I mean, we want everybody to have goals. I mean, I want my child to kind of have a clear mindset of what she wants to do. She's young, but still I want her to have an idea of what she wants to accomplish, right? Or just introduce a few things to her that she'll like, and for her to get involved in a way or interested, right? And I think if I had more friends that had children about her age, then they would do the same. So then they would have to run on the same frequency. All right, what do you like to do? What do you like to do, right? Instead of just hanging out at home, watching YouTube all day, or whatever the case is, right? Again, I think it was Grant Cardone. He said this recently. He's like a real estate mogul. He says, "Man, I'm gonna homeschool my kids, right? I don't want my somebody I don't even know raise my kid. I'm gonna homeschool them." And again, it goes with the same definition which we're speaking of, right? Just holding a tight circle and keeping clear of what our morals are, and not have any outsider come in and try to take over our children's mindset, right? And what's okay from wrong, even though if we think the opposite of it.
What age is your daughter?
She's young, man. She's young, but she's 12. Just turned 13.
One child?
Yeah, just one. Man. Just thinking about it, man. I'm like, man. Yeah, so I had her when I was 21. Yeah. So she's a teenager.
Yeah, getting there.
Just turned 13. Yeah.
Good thing you're a boxer, though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a good thing. But one battle that I focus on, not winning, is her, because it's just about just engaging, having conversation with her, and find a way. I don't want to say this because she might be seeing this, but just trying to see her views on things, and then give her my perspective on it, and then hopefully she will
makes the right decision.
Respect it. Yeah, respect it. Make the right decision off of that. Because I mean, she's with us. Children are with us a certain part of the day, but the rest are with their friends. They're at school.
Mhm.
So you're just hoping that, your decisions and your views on things actually transfer over to her more than her friends, because her friends have different views. I'm sure her friends' families have different views, and that's something that we got to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, man.
The most important thing, man, I'm sorry that I kind of interrupt you right now,
no.
but is the most important thing in life, especially for a youngster, is to identify who they're going to stay with, who their couple is going to be, who their wife or their husband is going to be, where they come from, what mindset their family has. Because if you don't look into that, you're going in blind.
Yeah.
I'm very young and I'm single, and when I got to learn through error, right, through trial and error, to find out how it is, what's easiest to find the person that's gonna be the best fit for the rest of your life, right, in marriage. But man, you got to find out who the parents are, what the parents been through, right? Because history will repeat itself. And I'm so positive on, I'm so sure on that. And if it doesn't repeat itself, it's very close to it. I assure you. I've seen it numerous times, right? Of course, you can break that. You can. I think YG said it, break that curse on the first millionaire. But you can break that, but it's going to take a lot of work, right? A different mindset, a different view on things. And it's not easy. But now I'll date a girl, and I kind of look at where her family's from. And then I think, okay, well, I have a good idea and perspective of where, like, our relationship will be going. And this goes for anybody, I have so much to say for my buddies who are athletes, but we'll hold that for another conversation.
Yeah. So studying the brain waves and stuff from Dr. Joe and all that stuff is 95% of our subconscious is built from 1 through 7. Because our brain waves are in what's called theta. And then the brain isn't fully developed, so we're impressionable, more suggestible to information. And, it's interesting because if we stubbed our toe and our 3-year-old saw us and we started laughing, they would start laughing, right? Because they're watching everything that we're doing. And it's interesting because that's also what the kings know to keep the peasants in separation, is they influence us in different ways. And that's why you're right. It's super important to be like, well, what is my daughter around or experiencing, or what's influencing her subconscious mind, and it starts being built very, very, very young.
100%, man. It's, for any athlete and for any youngster, anybody, once you get married, they're there for the rest of your life. Once you have kids, that wife is there, or the woman you had kids with, your ex-wife, will be there for the rest of your life. So you always want to build yourself for success. So that's step number 1. It's not just about dating and having, Mike Tyson would say fornicating, right? Having sexual relationships. It's not just about that, because the kid can come from it. You never know. But it's about having a proper person that can look out for your best interests, and that it's genuine, that is real, and that actually has a life too. Because we as athletes, I think that we as athletes, we tend to go on to work hard, play hard too, right? Have a good time, and we'll date here. We don't like that person, we'll date somebody else. But in that process, you got to make sure that you're getting to know the person, right? And you get to know her background, where's she from, and what her intentions are. Be clear on that. Ask yourself every day, what intentions does Sally, would you say that? What intentions does Sally have? Like, what is she going to do in life?
It's got to be a teammate, right? It's almost like, boxing's a one-man sport, but you have a team, right? You have a coach, right? And you've gone through all the great coaches, right?
Yeah.
What is your coach's intent? Your coach wants you to be the best person you can be, right? So as an athlete, and I grew up playing football and basketball, and I had both of my coaches in high school were the California State Coach of the Year. They're the best in the state. And, they taught me to sacrifice. They taught me, it was a funny thing is, if I was late in the weight room at 6 a.m, right? If I was late, 6:01, coach would stop. He'd be like, hey, Hayashi has to announce down-ups for everybody else. I didn't get punished. I had to punish everybody else. And that taught me something, right? So everyone's like, you're late. Now we're doing down-ups for you, And that's the teammate you want. And I know it may seem kind of weird to girls out there that maybe didn't play sports, but with an athlete mentality, you know, as an athlete, we get fundamentals, then we have game time. No, fundamentals, practice, game time, then we watch film, right? And life is the same way, you know. And I approach relationships like if I'm with a girl, then, you know, we have the fundamentals, which is, you know, love, gratitude, what do you want, all these things. Those are the fundamentals that we learn. And then we can practice by, I mean, it doesn't have to get like this, but it's almost the same thing. You know, okay, we go on a date. Okay, I respect you, blah, blah, blah. And then game time is life. We're out, all these situations. And, you know, sometimes I'm going to mess up. You're going to mess up. If we can constructively reflect on what we do and be like, hey, you know, if she can come up to me with, hey, I didn't like how you did this, or I like how you did this, and that's reflection. And then, okay, back to fundamentals, and then boom. Then you win championships, right?
Yeah, yeah. Very true, man. Yeah, I mean, championships is winning in life overall, long term, right? When we come back to speaking of relationships. But it's an interesting subject, man. Because everyone has different views. It's just like, I saw this interview recently, because, I mean, I like to learn new things, and sometimes I'll research a few kind of just informative topics, and I see a view that they're doing on a podcast, doing an interview like this, and they're asking to go, I mean, what would you tell your child, right, growing up? I'd say, and the woman says, well, I'd say, go out there, you know, live life, have a good time, you know, and be yourself. And then the guy says, okay, well, this is what I would say. I'd say, go out there, make sure you can't curse in this podcast, right? So I won't. So he says, go out there.
You can say whatever you want.
Be a monster. What I mean by that, he says, be a monster. Go out there and get your money. Stay focused. Work your butt off, right? The first all the way into your late 20s, right? Because at the end of the day, that's going to make life so much easier. You got to be a monster. You got to make sure you know exactly what you want to do. You want to know exactly what you're going to be doing in the future and prepare for it. Because if you don't prepare yourself to make money and to be, you know, well off, you know, then in order to get the respect from other people, it's going to be a little more difficult. And I thought that, and I said, in a way, yeah, it's right. But my view on it was just, okay, that's night and day. Right? It's like the woman has one view, the man has another one, right? So it's just finding that perfect middle ground. And that's what it has to be, because whenever my dad was a tough one too, right? So if you think of on me, he was the tough one. My mom was the one, she was more caring, nice. Like whenever I had problems, I'd come to her. So again, that's building the team together, right? And that's just two different views that gave me an example that it's about building the team where wherever it is that I am lacking in certain things, hopefully my future wife will be able to fill that in for me.
And it's really interesting because I don't probably think about this as much as I should, but like, you know, we get attracted to people and then we date. But if the ultimate goal is a family and team, and then there's a whole list of things that a lot of people, well, I guess you want to wait to have those conversations until you're comfortable because you don't want to scare someone off or something, right?
Definitely. You come on the first date and say, hey, so what do you want to do with the kids?
How are we going to raise our children? And
yeah.
but, you know, I don't know. I guess it's hard because if you think about it, someone's lived 20, 30, whatever years, someone else has lived 20, 30 years, and then you're just mashing them together.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty insane, right? And then I'm a single guy too, so it's funny because they say, what's insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? But not, you know, that's a negative way of saying it because it can happen, but it just takes learning. That's the most important thing is learning from this video game of life, right? Just taking everything that we experience and becoming the best people we can be. And that resonance that we were talking about, that manifestation, the frequency, I think, you know, I became single for like 7-8 years or something, right? For the first time in my life a while ago. And everyone says, love yourself, right? And I didn't love who I was back then. I was like, why did I do that? And I still make mistakes to this day, but you know, I was like, okay, well, let me be the person I look up to. I'd go out and I would see someone or I'd hang out with someone, and I admire that. And then I started trying to be the person I admire, you know? And I recommend that. I mean, for the listeners, anyone watching this, I mean, best decision I could ever make in my life was actually falling in love with myself, being like, damn, because I spent so much time not loving myself. And it sounds cliche, but it's so true. And like my friends come to me with advice and they're like, you know, and I'm like, what do you mean? What should you do with this girl? I was like, what would you tell your son? You would tell your son to run away, you know, start loving yourself. And I found myself when I was doing that, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not loving myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would tell my son, I would tell my brother, I would tell my friend to not do that, you know, and then it makes things really easy. And then people are like, wow, you know, we get so brainwashed or in this moment. And then we're like, wait a second, I'm not loving myself. Like, what am I doing? But
yeah, overall, I mean, there's nothing better than self-love, right? Women elaborate on that a lot. We don't really, because it's just like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? It's different, right? It really is. I mean, the way I say it is, hey, man, be who you want to be. And you could do that today, tomorrow, any day of the week. But you can be whoever it is that you want to be. I want to be a businessman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be, or just a personality. What type of person you want to be? You want to be the funny guy? Well, you can do it. Just, you know, you just got to find a way to execute the right damn joke, which I'm good at sometimes. But no, I mean, definitely. I would have to say that I have the same view as you do. You know, I don't really ask myself, but, you know, I catch myself whenever I'm making a mistake. All right. And I think, all right, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that person. So I'll make sure not to do it again. And that's how I see it. So that's how I correct it, right? Change that up, you know, make sure that I don't say so. For example, sometimes I'll say some jokes and later on I'll think, you know what, maybe my friend kind of took a little offense to it. I'll make sure not to do that again. Right? It's just about becoming a better human being. As you say, in this beautiful life, you just got to be better, you know, or at least what you see as better, right? Because what you see as a better person may not be a better person to the other guy next to you, right? So everybody has a different view on it. Whoever you want to be, you can. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Man, it's you can't be a two-time world champion without always trying to be better, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well said, man. I mean, I've always, since I was in training, I was always trying to be better, right? As a fighter. In my 30s is when it kind of kicked in. I want to be a just better person. That's when you started checking yourself. You know, hey, you know, how can I be a better person overall? I think in my 30s, and then, you know, just went from there. And right now, thankfully, I have respect from all the people, right? And that's someone that I always wanted to be, someone that was well respected in any line of work. Right, and thankfully I get respected in the sport of boxing. That's the most crucial sport that I can see in the United States or in the world. Because, man, it's one-on-one combat, 36 minutes, nonstop action. I respect UFC a lot, MMA, right? Because they have to have true grit. They have to go through similar things that we have to. Yeah, definitely, man. So I mean, those are two sports that I definitely admire very much. Every sport in general, because as you said earlier, in football and basketball, whatever, right, when you were involved, you you learn some crucial lessons.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sports helps us, and that's the reason why when I have children, I want to have more children. I want to put them into the sport, right? Not boxing though. I wouldn't want my child to be a boxer. My daughter now, she wants to do boxing. I tell her, leave it alone, honey. Right? I tell her just, I mean, I'll train you boxing. That's fine. I do. I'll train you boxing, but I don't want you fighting. I don't want you competing. Just learn how to defend yourself, right? Get a good workout out of it, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, any sport would definitely teach you like how to be responsible, how to just hold yourself accountable overall, right? In boxing, you have to hold yourself accountable because when you get beat up in the ring, you have to know that it was your fault and your fault only. That's why I enjoy the sport so much because I'm a team player, but not everybody's a team player.
Right.
So I don't want to lose because of him. If I lose, I'm like, all right, it was my mistake. I hold myself accountable, right? And that's why I love boxing so much. You couldn't blame anybody else for your loss or for your victory. Of course, you give thanks to everybody that helped you in the process. I would have to thank my father all the time because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have done it. I almost quit when I was 16 years old, actually, right? I wanted to make money. I wasn't making money. I was tired of asking my dad for $20 to go to the theater and take my girl, right? So I thought, Dad, you know what? I gotta start making money. I'm gonna start working because I'm gonna change the subject just a little bit because I want to start making money. I want to take out my girlfriend to the movies. And he tells me, he says, Jesse, I'm gonna give it to you in short. He tells me, Jesse, just think about it. You're really great at what you do, right? You could choose to get out now and work for the rest of your life, or you can continue boxing and I'll help support you. All right, I'll give you whatever it is that you need. right? He means by just raising me well and gave me some money to go to the movies. I'll take care of you, right? But because if you become world champion, if you chase what you want to accomplish, you'll never work a day in your life. You won't have to take orders from anybody, okay? And you'll be your own boss for the rest of your life. So stick to it. And I thought about it. And then later on, I told him, all right, Dad, I will. So now going back again to the initial conversation is that sports teaches us discipline, right? How to hold yourself accountable. And from that point on, right, I just knew that I had to hold myself accountable and I had to just strive to accomplish exactly what I set out to do. So there's always going to be bumps along the road, but you have to always stay in the direction that takes you in the direction that you want to accomplish, right? Your goal at the end of the day. So yeah, that was something that has always stood out to me, is that my dad told me at the age of 16. Yeah, if not, I probably would have quit.
Moment.
Yeah, man. I mean, thanks to him, I give credit to my parents because they really supported me a lot, and I accomplished everything with their help. So where you see a world title, my parents should be holding one too. Plain and simple.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
If you could give any advice to anyone out there in boxing or chasing their dreams, what would you tell them? Like, if they're doing something that they want to love and be good at.
Anybody, not just athletes, I would say, point out what you want to accomplish first of all. Now, gain the knowledge and be aware of what it is that it takes in order to accomplish it, and that's going to follow with discipline, right? With mental focus, physical focus. When it comes to discipline, there's so many things that gather up behind discipline, because you have to make sure that you restrain yourself from entertainment, from certain things that you want to do. In short, I'd say focus, stay determined, believe. I'm saying over and over, keep believing, see it, manifest it, and do your homework and you'll accomplish it. That's what I'd say, right? For athletes, same thing. It's all about work ethic, staying focused, believing in yourself. As you get older, as you reach success, stay aware. Ask yourself, what do these people here benefit in hanging out with me? Why do they want to hang out with me? When it comes to women, I'd say ask yourselves where they're from, what do they gain in dating you, and take your time. Take your damn time with women, or women with men. Take your time. I'm telling you from experience, right? And you'll never, you won't see it as a mistake for you to be patient when it comes to a date, to a relationship. All right, just take it as you're on a first date and you're asking her, hey, so when do you want to have kids? Don't do it on your first date. Just take your time. Chill. All right, get to know her. Enjoy your time together. Don't have kids until you guys are married. That's one big thing I'd say, is don't have kids out of wedlock, because that's for anybody, not just an athlete. If you want to be successful in anything you do, that's a little too much. I'd say if you want to make life just a little bit easier for you, I'd say don't have kids before wedlock. So get married and then have kids. Don't do it the opposite. I know from experience, from my friends that I've grown up with, and they always have told me the same thing. They prefer to get married and then have kids. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much more that I want to say. But overall, stay focused, stay determined, believe in yourself, have good people around you. As you said, Kevin, it's all about the people you hang out with. Make sure the energy is always positive, not negative. Make sure always people want what's best for you, not really finding ways to take advantage of you.
I love that.
Yeah, there's just so much to say, man. I mean, I've learned a lot, dude. I learned a lot in life. I was just always stuck on this bubble where I was just striving for success in my sport, in my career, and that's it. I never let anybody in very much in my life. It was just solo. But there was a time where I took time away from boxing, and that's when I would really realize, like, wow, the real world is harsh. Like, people are gonna get close to you to try and to try and feed off of you, to see how they can benefit from that. And it's so strange, man. But I really was taken out to the real world and just realized, okay, like, it's surprising, but you gotta know, you gotta ask yourself, what's in it for, like, what's the reason for this?
Yeah.
What's the reason for this? Like, you ask yourself that, you'll come with a good conclusion, in my point of view. I mean, you've seen it, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have, man, yourself. So yeah, man, just be a good person.
Is there? I think we're cutting a little short on time, right? Coming up. Is there anything coming up that you'd like to share? What's Jessie Vargas got going on coming up here?
Tell you what, right now I'm just finding ways to, actually just helping other athletes out, right? Whether it be advice or just so I started investing when I was 23 years old, and it's gone well for me. I mainly started in real estate, so, and then ventured off into a few other things. So I'd like to say that I have a good idea on, certain investments that we should be making. And I just like to inform other friends of mine that are also athletes. Just let them know, hey, man, just be patient, take your time. Kind of like some things that I'm elaborating on here. I'd say that I'm sharing with them, and just staying aware of and inform all of my investments, making sure they're all well taken care of. Right now I'm just chilling, man. Taking time off and focusing on that, taking classes in college, getting my business degree. Because I figured, you know what? I'm already an entrepreneur, but let me just get this degree behind me and make sure I got it. And when everybody asks me, I can tell them, yeah, I have my business degree.
A little flex right there. Right?
Yeah, that's how it feels, especially being an athlete. I think you're an athlete and you also have a degree. It's a big flex, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's another accomplishment. I mean, there's no reason to stop setting goals. It's just another goal, right? And then boom, it's another championship.
Well said, man. Yeah, that's. I think that should be something. Well said. That should be something that we should put out for a lifestyle. It's always setting out new goals.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have a goal, it just feels so boring, doesn't it? You always want to make sure you're on top of something.
I told myself a while ago that I will always take 2 lessons of something. Like before COVID, it was okay. Then that happened. I was like, all right, well, I'm taking golf lessons. Never really golfed before. Got into it, had the time, and then now I'm taking piano lessons and I'm learning a music production thing. And then, we have so much access to so much information. You can be a master from YouTube on anything. It's not just you have to go to a building where a teacher comes anymore. We can teach ourselves so many things. You want to cook, you want to do anything. It's like always mind, body, and spirit, right? Always improve. And we have the option to do all of that.
True. Yeah, and it's all up to us. So, we're just thankful that we're living in this era that we have so much out there for us to just take advantage of.
Rather than letting us drain us with dumb stuff, use it for a positive thing.
100%.
Well, Jess, I could talk to you for hours. We're gonna have you come on again, for
Definitely.
sure.
Would love
to. Sticky Paw Studio. Trav, John Orlando. I'm sorry I missed our meeting earlier today, but I can't wait to have him on. This is a great studio space. Can't wait to do more shoots here, and I'm going to be back here every few weeks, and I would love to get you on again, man, and do this. Maybe we'll have Jose or get some other people on together, dude, and then we'll go have a good time. But thank you so much for being here, man. Any last words?
My pleasure. Please continue supporting the channel, and yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here.
All the links to everything he's got going on will be in the description. And thank you guys for being here. Subscribe, like, comment, and don't forget to smile. Thank you. Love your energy.